Welcome to your favorite program, The Power Circuit, from the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. This program keeps you informed about the operations of TCN as it transmits bulk power and manages the national power grid. Let's bring you the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari's administration is committed to improving power supply, says Presidential Aide on Infrastructure. The West African Power Pool records progress towards implementing regional electricity markets. The management of TCN reiterates its focus on advancing reliability of the power grid. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, recently successfully executed the annual maintenance of the 132-33 kV Karu Power Transmission Substation in Abuja. The power circuit crew caught up with lead in-house engineers of TCN during the exercise. They spoke about the company's niche for proactive maintenance of the power transmission system. Our spotlight is on this. Please stay with us as these reports unfold. I am Amara Agugoisi. The Special Advisor to the President on Infrastructure, Ahmed Rufai Zakari, says the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration is deeply committed to improving power supply through the various ongoing interventions.
The presidential aide, who was speaking during an interview recently, said the current administration has focused clearly on the issues that had hindered the power sector from working in the past.
This administration has taken a very clear look at the power sector, and I'll talk on the on-grid sector now, which is really what we need for continued industrialization. And you really need to look at the issues in terms of having an ecosystem that works. And what has this administration done to make sure that power ecosystem works? We can understand that we've had one of the fastest growing telecom sectors. It's still growing if you think telecoms and digital economy. Why? Because the economics work, they incentivize investment, which now provides increased service for citizens.
Mr. Zakari said the administration has prioritized three focal points under the President Muhammadu Buhari and the Minister of Power, Engineer Salim Mamman, to deliver improved power services that will sustain increased industrialization. Speaking on the advancement of infrastructure, including the transmission network of the power sector, owned and managed by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, the presidential aide said the federal government will continue to invest in the transmission and distribution sections to get more power supply to consumers.
On the infrastructure side, this administration has made more funds available in the distribution and transmission sector, where we lack more than any other administration. The Siemens Presidential Power Initiative will boost our transmission capacity, as well as provide influx of funds for distribution. And lastly, late last year, I think you guys all saw the announcement where the World Bank, is providing $500 million to the downstream distribution.
He also spoke about the Siemens Presidential Power Initiative being driven to provide infrastructural interventions in the power transmission and distribution networks.
The Siemens Presidential Power Initiative will bring in northwards of $2 billion into the sector, some for distribution, some for transmission. On an emergency basis, under the leadership of the Central Bank of Nigeria, we've provided funds for metering, right? The first fund, as they announced, was about 59 billion, and everyone is getting meters. We've rolled out more than 400,000 of them out of a million. We've delivered about 600,000. And then we have facilities for the discos and partnerships with TCN for about 240 billion. So if you add all of these funds, that's why I say We are putting in more than $3 billion. The regulator, NERC, working with the Power Ministry and other power stakeholders, such as the Power Sector Reform Working Group led by His Excellency the Vice President, have looked at if a DISCO has 100 projects to improve power in, say, Kano or Ikeja's network. What we're saying is, let us allocate the funds across your projects.
Okay.
Which ones will Siemens PPI do? Which ones will you get from the central bank emergency funds? Which ones will come from World Bank funding?
The West African Power Pool WAP has held its 36th coordination meeting of the technical and financial partners as it moves to deliver core electricity projects in the West African region targeted at instituting the regional electricity markets. The virtual meeting was led by the chairman, WAP Executive Board and Acting Managing Director, CEO, Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, represented by the General Manager, Project Implementation Unit, Engineer Joseph Chiroma.
In the chairman's address, he lauded the regulatory, technical and financial partners that include the multilateral donor agencies for their support since the creation of WAP.
Allow me to express my gratitude to the Commissioner of Energy and Mines of ECOWAS for his usual availability in being here with us this morning, despite his extremely busy schedule. My thanks also go to you, our technical and financial partners, for your involvement in the WAP since creation. It is an undisputed fact that our collaboration has significantly contributed towards the WAP being viewed today as a renowned institution of regional integration.
Engineer Abdulaziz further reiterated the commitment of the WAP Executive Board in realizing the regional electricity market implementation despite the challenges imposed by the COVID-19 pandemic.
We are steadily approaching the dawn of the full operationalization of the regional electricity market within the ECOWAS sub-region, a market that shall yield socio-economic benefits and uplift the well-being of ECOWAS citizens, a market that shall inspire confidence and attract the private sector to take up investment without anxiety. A market shall represent another positive step in the removal of borders among ECOWAS member states.
He, however, said to realize this, there is the need for stronger partnership between WAP and the technical as well as the financial partners.
It is now more opportune than ever for the relationship between WAP and its partners to be reinforced to effectively recover from the challenges caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The address of key underlying factors that may affect our journey need to be accelerated, and paramount among these are the realization of a seamless and efficient regional power grid, the attainment of market functionality, and the existence of the right know on how to manage both technical as well as market-related issues. The implementation of the WAP priority projects as well as the full-scale deployment of the WAP Center of Excellence continue to remain critical in the short-term needs of the WAP.
The WAP Executive Board Chair further gave an update of the priority projects being executed by the pool towards enhancing regional integration of the electricity grid.
The construction of the WAP Information and Coordination Center in Benin, though challenged during the pandemic, continues to progress, and its completion shall fundamentally change the landscape of the electricity business within the ECOWAS sub-region, given that significantly more options shall be available to meet the power supply needs of the member states. As you may recall, however, the ECOWAS head of states and government, in the approval of the master plan in December 2018, have urged that the backup facility for the WAP Information and Coordination Center be realized soonest in order to ensure continuity of critical operations in terms of unavailability of the main center. I remain fully confident, though, that our partners shall, as usual, closely examine these issues and positively advance on them.
While he appreciated the technical and financial partners for their commitment to the WAP goals, he said the WAP Executive Board is more committed than ever towards realizing the set objectives of the pool.
The WAP, under the leadership of the Executive Board, shall continuously assess its functioning with a view to making the organization more efficient, effective, and worthy of your partnership. Once again, expressing the thanks of the WAP for your participation in conveying my wishes for your continued well-being. I sincerely thank all of you for your attention.
In his remarks, the Secretary General of WAP, Sengil Apolonier-Key, highlighted the agenda for the meeting that includes giving updates about the various WAP projects being executed by WAP.
We will have the presentation, we will have the review and adoption of the memoir, and after we will have the presentation of the status of development of the Ebola regional electricity market, what has been done at the institutional level and also practically on ground. And after that, we will have the implementation status of priority projects. Then the presentation on the capacity building program. After that, the implementation of the interconnection, CLSG, Côte d'Ivoire, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, the Transco, the director.
The power circuit continues after this break.
Do not build under transmission power lines for your safety and health. Electricity power lines and substations, either for power transmission or power distribution services, are extremely dangerous when exposed to direct human contact. These power lines and substations transmit electricity that lights up our homes and offices, power our computers, TVs, and refrigerators. On the other hand, the same electricity when exposed is extremely dangerous. It can shock, electrocute, and kill anyone on its way. That is why everyone must adopt safety measures whenever we use or are close to electricity facilities like power lines or substation or transformers. For the safety of the people and animals, governments all over the world have approved way leave or right-of-way of 50 meters for 330 kV power lines and 30 meters for 132 kV power lines, and for 33 kV lines the way leave is 15 meters. People are not expected to be found within this way leave or right-of-way for safety reasons. The lines can suddenly cut and fall to the ground with very disastrous consequences such as fire and electrocution of anybody and destruction of anything, be it vehicle, houses or vegetation on its line. It has also been established that power lines and substation emit electromagnetic fields, EMF, which is dangerous to human health. The World Health Organization, WHO, has warned that people who spend long hours under or close high-tension lines stand the risk of being affected by EMF and be vulnerable to cancer, leukemia in children, miscarriages among pregnant women, and other terrible diseases. It is therefore advisable not to build any structure or operate any business under or near any electricity high-tension lines or substations. TCN wants you to stay alive, stay safe, stay healthy, avoid power lines. This message is from the Management of Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, is known for managing the national grid as it delivers bulk power from power generation companies to distribution load centers nationwide for onward supply to consumers. To sustain these mandates in a qualitative manner, the management of TCN, under the leadership of the Acting Managing Director and CEO, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, heightened the proactive maintenance of transmission infrastructure. Using its in-house engineers, it recently successfully executed the annual maintenance of the 132 33 kilovolts Karu power transmission substation in Abuja. In this spotlight, the lead in-house engineers of TCN during the exercise spoke about this culture of proactive system maintenance.
The principal manager transmission at Abuja sub-region of TCN, Engineer Gambo Chinda, at the substation, which has a 2 units of 60 MVA power transformer, explained the various maintenance exercises for power transmission equipment at TCN.
This is Karu substation, having 2 by 60 MVA. Maintenance, actually we used to do routine maintenance, preventive maintenance, annual preventive maintenance. This, what we are doing present now is annual preventive maintenance. And the process of annual preventive maintenance, we used to schedule a date for it. After scheduling a date, we have to apply to NCC. And after that day, we will keep reminding them. When the day comes, then we'll come to the station. With the collaboration of NCC will instruct the operator on duty to give us that equipment for maintenance. And as you have seen, every department is involved here. We have PCM, electrical system, and lines. And every section is doing their work, as I've seen here. And we are doing annual maintenance, preventive maintenance, to see that all our equipment is viable at any time of the day. When you have an equipment with you and you are maintaining it all the time, in time, and that equipment will serve you better. And when you leave it without maintaining it, can break at any time. That is why we are doing annual maintenance, to see that all our relays have been checked, the divider switch have been serviced, put new transformer oil, all equipment that is involved have been checked to see that they are working fine.
The principal manager transmission also explained the power coverage scope of the Karu transmission substation.
Karu is having a supply from Apo to Karu, Kefi, Akwanga, turn out from here. Actually, the area, these 2 transformers are having 3 feeders on it. Both the transformers are having 3 feeders, and they are covering Karu, Nyanya, Jukwe, and all the environment.
The senior manager system lines at the Abuja sub-region, Engineer Sunday Baku, further corroborated the various management plans of TCN for power equipment, including power transmission lines.
Under scheduled maintenance, we have routine, we have random, we have preventive, and maintenance. So during the maintenance, we carry out so many activities in the switchyard. We in the lands department will handle all the overhead associates, starting from clamps, conductors, insulators, and order any hotspot development on any equipment. It can be either on a CT, a breaker, a transformer, bushing primary or secondary part of all those equipment, or terminal connectors that connect isolators to breaker to CT to breaker to the main transformer.
Engineer Bako said the work, which is highly technical, requires granting of outage before the in-house engineers can work on the lines and substation.
The time frame to be able to obtain outage is becoming a bit challenging, because we may schedule the job to start by 9, but before the outage will be granted onto us, it will take up to 10, after 10, even to 11, before we will finally obtain the outage and will commence work.
The TCN official also spoke about the issue of the transmission lines right-of-way encroachment and how they enlighten people about this during line maintenance exercises.
Everybody knows the danger of electricity, and we have a certain parameters that supposed to be protected by each individual. Because management, before they construct a line, they would might have obtained a right of way, either by settling individuals who owns the place and other things that may come up. So before you see any construction of a line, there must be a kind of agreement between the owners and the government. You get me? Which provide us access to have a right of way.
On his part, the Assistant Manager, Electrical Maintenance Department at Abuja Sub-Region of TCN, Engineer Yunana Marcos, expatiated on what TCN hoped to achieve with the annual maintenance of the Karu Power Transmission Substation.
The purpose of every maintenance on any equipment, not just electrical equipment, is to sustain the life of that equipment and also to be able to at least get a maximum output from that equipment. This is our power transformer, and this power transformer delivers power. This is a 60 MVA transformer, and it delivers power up to around 45 megawatts. So you can see 45 megawatts is a bulk of power that covers a lot of customers. And this transformer needs to be properly taken care of. I will make sure that at all time, we want to make sure that this transformer is readily available to serve our esteemed customers. So that's the purpose of this, our maintenance. And you discover that this power transformer is a transformer that is incorporated with a diverter switch. And this diverter switch is with the bulk of our maintenance is carried out through the diverter switch, because we have oil immersed in that diverter switch. So if over sometimes you don't remove those black the carbon deposit, anything carbon is conductive, and by the time you allow it to accumulate so much, instead of serving as an insulator, it will turn as a conductive part, and that will cause serious explosion within the diverter switch, and that will invariably means a transformer will pack up. So that's why we make sure once in a while we come, we open up the diverter switch, we remove that carbonized oil, we flush it, wash it properly with clean oil, then finally we introduce new transformer oil, and our transformer take off as a new one.
As we come to the end of this edition, get the top stories again. Presidential aid on infrastructure says President Muhammadu Buhari's administration is committed to improving power supply. The West African Power Pool records progress towards implementing regional electricity markets. You also heard that the management of TCN has reiterated its focus on advancing reliability of the power grid. The spotlight was on deepened culture of proactive maintenance exercises of power transmission equipment by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, as the company successfully executed the annual maintenance of the 132-33 kilovolts Karu power transmission substation in Abuja recently. Thanks for staying with us on this edition of the Power Circuit. You can view this episode and others on TCN YouTube channel. Please interact with us on these platforms because TCN needs your support to deliver more on its mandate this year. TCN wishes you the best always. And remember to adhere to the coronavirus prevention protocol. I am Amara Agugoisi. See you next week.